Shalom, shalom, giving honor and praise to the Most High, the Son, Yahweh. Happy Sabbath to you, Brews. Brew, coming to you on another Friday. Build up. Name of the class is called Teach a Just Man, and he will increase in learning. A lot of us, when we in this truth, learning about God's law, statutes, and commandments, knowing that the kingdom of heaven is the next step of our glory and what we're supposed to be reaching out to. But the Most High God sets the Bible up in order for us to learn, in order for us to comprehend the things that He requires in us, man. So we're gonna kind of just go and dive up in this mode, man. First precept we're gonna go to, this is Isaiah chapter 28, man. Because it said, teaching a just man, he will increase in knowledge, man. A lot of us, when we looking at this, we need to be trying to get ourselves built up so the Most High can be able to give us a better understanding of the scriptures, man. And by keeping his laws, it's the only way to get a good understanding of the Bible. I know a lot of us, we read over and over again trying to get a better understanding, but we must go back to God's law, statutes, and commandments in order to get a good understanding of the scriptures, man. So, for further ado, we're going to start at Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. It says, the book of Isaiah chapter 28 verse 9, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So, in order to get a better knowledge of the Bible, you must be, it say, weaned from the milk, and he said we also must be drawn from the breast, man. Because when we're not weaned, when we're unskillful in learning, and when we're unskillful in his words, it's hard for us to really comprehend the breakdown, because a lot of people want to comprehend the breakdowns, and a lot of people want to go into the deeper parables of the Bible, and they don't have a basic understanding. So when they go diving into it, just say a person, they dive into the etymology of the words, and they dive into the history. It's always to get a good understanding of the history of the Bible. It's good to get a good understanding of etymology of the words, but you must first start by keeping God's laws and doing God's law and able to get these things, man. I'm going to get a precept to back up to Isaiah 28 and 9 to give you a better understanding what this is going into. The precept that we're going into is Hebrews chapter 5 and verse verse 11. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 11. Of whom we have many things to say, and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing. Because a lot of people, even when people try to understand the order of Melchizedek, is going reading up in the text, reading about the order of Melchizedek and the understanding of what that goes into. But I ain't gonna dive into it. It's gonna kind of take you away from the class. But a lot of people, they utter these things, but they dull of hearing. They dull of understanding the scriptures because they don't do according to how the scriptures tell us to do to get understanding. They lean on their own understanding, and therefore it gives people get people lost and not give a person understanding of what is what in the scriptures. Verse 12, Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God. So coming into this truth, you got to make sure that you are grounded. When the people is out there just teaching in the highways and the byways, the people out there teaching on the internet, people out there giving classes, you got to make sure that you're grounded in the scriptures. And Make sure that you are being taught the proper breakdowns, the proper understanding. It's like you say, the proper etymology of these words, the proper parables and dark sayings, because a lot of time people can get caught up. You even have the best of the best in Israel, they'll get caught up in their own way of doing things, and they'll get lost. So that way, it says that for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first. He said that's the first principles of the oracles of God. This is the first principles of the oracles of God. It means after you think you're ready, go back and get a better understanding. Okay, I got it. I'm ready to go. Now I can dive into some of these things. Because we have seen time after time, you can see how a high-level Christian can get onto your channel, and then here you are battling a high-level Christian, and now it's hard for you to answer some of these questions. Or you could go be on the streets teaching, and then a high-level Christian or person that's a training the person that's in wicked Islam or these different religions, they come up and they asking you questions, debating you about the Bible, and they not even keeping the commandments to get a better understanding. And here you are battling somebody that don't even have no understanding. Finna read on. And are become such to have need of milk and not of strong meat. So these people that's in Israel that's getting understanding, just like a lot of times like TDJs, they don't understand the Bible. They don't understand the breakdown. What they do, they sit up and they read the Bible, and they just read the New Testament. They don't really, and the only thing they get at the Old Testament is what they learn in theological school. Daniel and the lion's den. David and Goliath. You just learn about these things like that, but they don't go into the split of the kingdom and who the Bible is written for. They never go into who Christ is coming to save and who's going to take on to who's going to be ruling in the kingdom of heaven. These questions, they never come to debate. The only thing they come in for, even our Christian counterparts, the wicked ass pastors, man, they go to these theological schools and think they're doctors of the Bible, and they don't know the Bible. Even with them, they don't. These people, they don't understand the Bible because they don't really live the Bible. They just know what prosperity is, man, and how to win on this earth. But a lot of them, and even some that do know, guess what? They're not going to tell our people this. Verse 13. For everyone that for everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. So that's why you don't want to get caught up into going into a deep breakdown of breaking down these parables, and you don't even understand the history. Understand of our forefathers Moses, understanding our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, understanding the lands that we lived in, that when we dwelled in Canaan, when our forefathers when Moses was in the plains, in the mountains of Moab. And then when Joshua them was coming up out of there, going into the promised land. Knowing these things, man, these are breakdowns that our people must be looking at to try to get themselves in order so they could have a better understanding, man. Going into the breakdown of Nathan, the prophet that comes to David, giving him the prophecy of Christ to come. Giving them the prophecy of that coming out of his bloodline or out of his seed, that the kingdom gonna be out of the kingdom gonna come through his seed, and they're gonna reign forever. These are things that we need to go back and need to understand. And after you go past David and Solomon, then you go past and start looking at the split of the kingdom, man. We got to understand that we done had judges in Israel, prophets, we had kings, we had plenty of stuff that we had that people must go into the Bible and start breaking these things down in order to get a good understanding of the Bible. Verse 14. But strong meat belonging to them that are full age. So it belonging to people that went in and studied the history about all those things. Just like when you go, I'm finna hold this precept, man. Just like when even the details that when Christians, when they read this, Luke chapter 24 and 44. So when Christians read Luke chapter 24 and 44, they can't grasp these things because they don't go in and read the Old Testament and the breakdowns of the Old Testament. They don't go in and read it. What they go in there, they start from Matthew and they go straight on to Paul and they get choked out. Luke chapter 24 and verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled. Now, when Christians read things, Christ fulfilled it. He fulfilled it. But Christ himself is telling you in Luke chapter 24, verse 44, he said, all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses. So everything that was written in the law of Moses, all these things must be fulfilled. Okay. And Shalaki, in the law of Moses and in the prophets. So in all the prophets, in the Isaiahs, in Samuel's, in Jeremiah's, in Ezekiel, and Daniel, all these things must be fulfilled. And in the Psalms concerning me. So all these things that has supposed to be fulfilled concerning Christ, these things Christ must do. It said in all the prophets and in the Psalms and in the law of Moses concerning Christ, all these things must be fulfilled, man. All these things have not been fulfilled because he have not came to redeem his people out of this captivity. So if Christ coming back to redeem, why would he redeem somebody that's not even in? How can he redeem somebody that's not in captivity? To take you out of your bondage, to give you rest. Where is the so-called Edomite needing rest for? Y'all are in y'all rest. These are the things that our like I say, our Christian counterparts, they look at it and they go astray because they don't understand the Bible. What they do, they like a song and a dance and like a here and go. Let's go back to Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 14. But strong meat, Shalaki, but strong meat belonging to them that are full age, even those who by reason of use have this sense exercise to discern both good and evil. And that's what we must get back to learning how to discern good and evil. Because sometimes when you're dealing with people, when the person that's unskillful, a lot of these people that's really unskillful in the truth, a lot of these people, honestly, you want to go out, they want to teach everybody. And guess what? 2/3 of our people is not gonna make it, man. And guess what? We want to show everybody. We do. But you got scriptures in there telling you don't cast your pearls of swine. A lot of people have unclean spirits on them, man. And guess what? You'll have the discerning on you to say, man, no, I ain't back off this brother. This brother got a spirit on him. Because a lot of time when a person, when they got this spirit on them, guess what? A lot of time, them people gonna reject it, man. They full well will reject it. Right? It is what it is. They full well will reject it. So go back to Isaiah chapter 28, man. But a lot of these people that like to say they got spirits on them, and they can't discern between good and evil. And when they can't discern between good and evil, that's when you giving your pearls to that swine, and guess what? And he don't receive nothing you said, and he don't give a damn about what you just said, or she don't. A lot of our people, they get lost in their sauce in that way, man. Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. It says, For whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little and there a little. See, because a lot of our people, they read the scriptures, but they don't go. A lot of people, like our Christian counterpart, they read the scripture, but they don't want to go precept upon precept or line upon line. You know what they rather do? Read the whole thing. Yeah, I can read you this whole chapter, and you couldn't tell me none of this stuff mean. Just say it. When you sit here and read the whole chapter, and I say, well, break it down. They can't break it down. Give me some understanding. They can't give you no understanding of these things, man. They want you to read something so they can try to catch on to something. So they want you to read the whole chapter so they can try to catch on. See, it says this. Well, tell me what that means then. And a lot of them people, they can't tell you what it means. And that's why people get lost, man. Verse 11. He said with verse 11, for with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. So we know, yeah, it's good to go into the people. It's good to go into the Hebrew to get understanding. But we also know that the Most High said in the scriptures what we just read, with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to our people. And that's what he's doing. That's why we can understand the Bible in English. He made sure that the Bible was translated. And so we can be able to have an understanding with stammering lips and another tongue. Because English is not our original language. But in English do we speak, so in English do we know. So that's how we understand the Bible more. We can't get caught up on how I feel and how she feel or how he feel when the Bible said precept upon precept. Now, when you deal in precept upon precept, one precept shouldn't cut another precept. One precept is supposed to explain another precept. One precept, let me say this again. One precept supposed to explain another precept. If that precept didn't give you a better understanding, the next precept supposed to explain a little bit better. If that precept didn't get you another precept to explain explain it better. That goes into one witness, two witnesses, three witnesses for one precept to get an understanding. This is how we must be thinking in Israel, because the Most High requires us to think, it requires us to have a better understanding of what we do. Because a lot of times we get caught up in ourselves, and we can lose out, man, on the kingdom. And that's something that's something we should never that's something we should never do. We should never get caught up in our own self, because you are the one that's gonna help you get into the kingdom, or you the one that's gonna help you take you away from the kingdom. Yahweh Shai himself said the kingdom of heaven is within you. So you can turn that light on and leave it on and prepare and wait for the king to come back, or you can turn that light off, man. But you can't keep cutting the light off and on and think the light gonna stay on for you. You're gonna eventually blow it out, man. And guess what? And that'll be on you. It ain't gonna be on Christ. It ain't gonna be on the Most High. It ain't gonna be on your brothers. He called me the heir. No, you caused you the heir, because you like what you heard. And then when you like what you heard, now you play the part, and then now you got to deal with what's the consequences behind it. That's what our people don't want to do. We don't want to do that. Next precept we go into Proverbs chapter 9 verse 1. Proverbs chapter 9 verse 1. Because this is what we must be doing, man. We must be getting better understanding of scripture. We must be leaning to what the Most High wants us to do. And we're supposed to always, let's say, look to the kingdom of heaven. And all these will be added unto you, man. I'm kind of just paraphrasing scriptures, man, but getting to it, though. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 1. Wisdom has built her house. So it's saying, it's telling us there's wisdom has built their house. And we know how wisdom built his house. It's founded on the rock of Yahushua, man. It's founded on our forefathers and how wisdom built his house. She had hewn out seven pillars. So wisdom hewn out 7 pillars. Let's see what that's talking about. It said wisdom hewn out 7 pillars. Let's deal with this. This house first. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2. And 1 Peter chapter 2, we're gonna start at verse 2 because this goes directly into what we just read about in Isaiah, precept upon precept, line upon line. This goes into it. So 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. Okay, it says, as newborn babes desire sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. So it's pivotal that brothers and sisters be tuned into classes, that brothers and sisters that watching online, brothers and sisters that's coming to class. It's pivotal for us to make sure that we stay in our word, man. Because a lot of time people don't understand just the simple fact of gathering with your people and learning with your people. These things are so much the more to help you out, man. Because it wouldn't be in the scriptures if these things didn't help us to grow. Because one thing about it, when you in this truth, your spirit is desiring to get fed. Everybody's spirit is desiring to get fed. You need that spiritual feeding, man. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be, ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious. So this word that you get, you'll see how gracious the Most High and his son Yahushua has been to us, man. To whom coming as unto a lively stone. Disallowed means rejected. Indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious. Because we know that it was prophesied that he's going to be rejected of men. These prophecies all through, like when you go in Isaiah chapter 53, the first thing it asks in Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 1, it said, whom have believed our report? It's the report is concerning the king, which is Yahushua. It was prophesied that he's going to be rejected by men. Even when you go into St. John chapter 1, it tells you how he's going to be rejected by men. But he said, but chosen of God and precious, because guess what? Yahushua was chosen of God, and that's precious to the Most High, man. Verse 5. Ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifice acceptable to God by Yahushua. Because these things are acceptable to the Most High by Yahushua. Because we give up these spiritual sacrifices that we do every day in our walk. These are the things that the Most High commanded us to do. And how we give up spiritual sacrifices. Let's go to Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. So I say precept upon precept. These precepts are supposed to give you a better understanding of what the next precept said. So 2 Peter chapter 2, 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 5, the spiritual sacrifice is Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. The book of Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. And I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy, Shalaki, of God, that ye present your body a living sacrifice. That's how we give up our spiritual sacrifices, by making our body a living sacrifice. Holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. This is our reasonable service to the Most High. Giving alms to the church by, hey, I'm going to dedicate myself by whatever the church need. It's not just a financial thing. Okay, what if the lights are out in the church that you need? Okay, the church needs somebody to put the lights in. Okay, the church needs somebody to clean the building up. The church needs, okay, so sisters to do the Sabbath. Hey, some stuff, the curtains need to be washed. Guess what? Hey, sister, brother might see that the walls of the church might need to get soap and water, might need to be wiped down. These are the reasonable sacrifices that we give. Guess what? You do these things in your own home, but when concerning the Most High, we're supposed to be doing the same thing. We went hard for these things in the world. Let's go hard for the Most High. He said, the last part of chapter 12, verse 1, he said, which is your reasonable service? This is our reasonable service to the Most High, man. Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Because what we must understand is doing God's will. This is it's the same thing he was trying to explain to hard-headed Cain. He said, if you do good, man, it's gonna be accepted. That's us in this truth. If we do good, we will be accepted by the Most High. But if we don't do good, we're not going to be accepted. We shouldn't even be expecting to be accepted. Let's go back to Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 1. And this is, wisdom had built her house, and she had hewn out 7 pillars. Let's deal with the 7 pillars. Let's go to James chapter 3 and verse 17. We must be trying to get an understanding of what these things are, man. Because through the Spirit of the Most High, man, we get understanding of the Bible, man. Through keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we get understanding of the Bible, man. A lot of us, we choose not to have an understanding because a lot of us get caught up in our own way. James chapter 3 and verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure. So the wisdom that we supposed to be trying to look for, it comes from up above, man. It comes from the Most High God. And it said above is pure. Okay. Then it said it's peaceable, it's gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy, good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Those are the 7 pillars of wisdom that we must lean on, man. These are the 7 pillars that the Most High is expecting us to lean on when we get into wisdom. I'm going to read this over. But wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Because wisdom got to be without partiality. You can't, guess what? Wisdom is not a part-time level. Wisdom is full time, man. Wisdom has no hypocrisy. Guess what, man? If you pour some water in the ground that's cracked up, that water gonna go through every part of that cracked up part of the ground that it can go through. If it's tilted the right way, if the ground tilted the right way, the water gonna go through every crack. That water has wisdom enough that the Most High said, guess what? Whatever your duty is, you're gonna fulfill it. And this is the same wisdom that the Most High is gonna have to. The Most High is gonna be putting inside us because we the only thing that's out of order that the Most High built. Because the sun come up high as supposed to. Guess what? Even the incense that we light up, guess what? It's gonna smoke high as supposed to smoke. And the incense, the smoke gonna go where it's gonna go. Guess what? Every number, every hair on your head, when it's time for your hair to grow on your head, dang, it seems like my hair doesn't stop growing. Guess what? When it's time for the Most High said, when it's time for your hair to grow back, your hair will grow. He the one makes these things, but the things that the Most High have in the nation with our people is the spirit that we have in us then we don't try to use his. We make a hypocrisy out of our wisdom that the Most High give us. I'm gonna read verse 17 again. But wisdom that is from above is first pure, because the Most High God's wisdom is pure. It said, then peaceable. The wisdom is always peaceable. King Solomon, the wisest person on the planet, man, was in peace, because the Most High gave wisdom. And King and his father, King David, had wars on every side, man, to make sure. But the prayers that King Solomon put up was prayers that was also laid down before his father, because his father told him, hey, you want to be a man, keep God's commandments. That was the wisdom that King Solomon was striving for. Lord, Lord, give me the wisdom to guide my people. That's just their command. That's the Lord giving him commandments for him to guide the people. He needed this wisdom, man. And it said, full of mercy and good fruits, because full of mercy and good fruits, we already know what the fruits of the spirits. And we already know what mercy we have, because guess what? Love thy neighbor as thyself, man. Without partiality and without hypocrisy, man. These are the 7 pillars that we must have of wisdom, man. Go back to Proverbs chapter 9, verse 1. We must have these things to grow in this truth, man. We don't want brothers and sisters to kind of meditate on James chapter 3 and verse 7. James chapter 3 and verse 17. These things our brothers and sisters should be meditating therein, man. Because a lot of our people, they don't like them. They read the scripture. I challenge brothers and sisters, just like I challenge the people, the brothers in the congregation. And I'm gonna challenge even the people that's watching online. Challenge every brother and sister. We go precept upon precept. Start from the beginning of the Bible and read your whole Bible. While you learning precept upon precept, watching these classes, while you learning precept upon precept, going to class and getting built up. Start from the beginning, start learning history. When you start from the beginning and start learning your history, I challenge brothers and sisters to start from Genesis. Read your whole Bible all the way through. And challenge all brothers and sisters to do these things, man. Because just like when Acts chapter 7, before Stephen got stoned, we know Jacob's trouble is on us, man. We up in Jacob's trouble. But right before Stephen got stoned, guess what happened? Stephen went in and was talking about the history, man. History of the Bible, man. Go and read Acts chapter 7, man. You will see that Stephen was going down, breaking down the history of the Bible. Something we must get back to, man. How do you know? How could you know how to live if you don't see the rights and the wrongs of what our forefathers done did? Because Romans 15:4 said things that are written aforetime was written for our learning, that we through patience. That's how we have hope, man. We got to find out what these things mean, man. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 2. She had killed her beast, and she had mingled her wine, and she had also furnished her table. So what wisdom is doing, it said killed the beast and had mingled her wine, and she had furnished her table. That means she got her wine ready. She got the table set. It says she killed the beast. Guess what? She got the food ready too. Welcoming our people to come in, man. She had sent forth her maidens. She cried upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanted understanding, she said to him, come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. So wisdom is offering this to our people. Wisdom said, I'm making it simple. He said, whoso, in verse 4, whoso is simple. Wisdom is asking a question, who is simple? Let him turn his. He said, who's simple? Come on. If you simple-minded, come on in, come on in. To whoso is simple, turn hither. As for him that wanted understanding, she said unto him, come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. This is wisdom talking to our people, man. Say, come drink of this wine, man. You want some wisdom? Come drink of these things, man. Because a lot of our people, you know, sometimes our people, we get caught up, man. We on the streets, on the block, giving the understanding, telling these people, man, the knowledge of the Bible is here. Our people like, man, they walk past us, man, on the daily. Every Sabbath, man, they walk past us, man. Walk past us. She said, come eat of my bread and drink of my wine I have mingled. Verse 6, forsake the foolish and live. It said to forsake the foolish and live and go in the way of understanding. This is what we telling our people, man. It's the same thing. Because say one precept is supposed to explain another precept. Let's go to Matthew 22 and 9. It's going to give it an example, man. It's going to give an example or account of what this is going into, man. It says Matthew chapter 22 and verse. We'll start at verse 9, man. Because this giving account. It's giving an account of the people, man, that's supposed to be. It's the same thing, man. When we out on the streets, man. We try to go on the streets and make the Bible as plain as we can make it. Brother, did you know Christ was black? Brother, did you know we are the children of Israel? Sister, did you know you was the daughter of Sarah? Sister, don't you know it's sin for you to wear pants, sister? Hey, sister, come let us show you that you are the greatest nation in the world. Hey, young brother, pull your pants up, brother. Come over here and dialogue with us about the Bible. These are simple things that we say to our people week after week, and they don't hear. They got eyes that can't see, and got ears that can't hear, man. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 9. It said, go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you can find, Shalaki. It said, go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, be it to the marriage. This is what wisdom doing, is bidding everybody to come to the table to eat, which is of the nation of Israel, man. So this is what I'm explaining, how we go out to the block every week. It says, so those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. This is what Proverbs chapter 9 is breaking down, man. The wisdom that he's got on the block that's calling everybody to come in to eat the wine and eat the bread that's of the Bible, man. Watch this. Verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there was a man which had no wedding garment. And he said unto him, friend. After all that, he seen a man that was in sin, Christ still called him friend. He said, friend, how comest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. And then said the king to the servant, bind him hand and foot and take him away and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. It's many people that, guess what? They can hear a little wisdom, but it's not going to obtain it. Because a lot of people got a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. That's why you see people, they ever learning. They learning, oh, I'm studying this, and I'm studying this, and I'm studying. They ever learning, but never come into the knowledge of the truth, man. They come into the knowledge of the truth, man. And that's a problem with our people, man. It's a straight up problem that our people have. They ever learning, but they never come into the knowledge of the truth. You got 100 books. They say all this stuff, but you never come into the real knowledge of the truth because you don't keep the commandments, man. That's a dang on shame, man. Let's go back to Proverbs chapter 9. We'll start at Verse 4. It's going into the same thing Matthew 22:9 is going into, man. It said, whoso is simple, let him turn hither. As from him that wanted understanding, she said to him. So anybody that was lacking understanding, she said to come to him. Come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that had reproved a scorner, get it himself, so I can get it to himself shame. And he that rebuked a wicked man, get it himself a blot. And that's what the service going into the highways to do, rebuking the wicked man, because we trying to get a blot out of the wicked stuff that we done did in our life, man. We trying to get a blot out, man. We won't. Hey, I got a lot of stuff I need to be blotted. We might need to go count, man. Look here, we might need to go to count, man. 25 days out of the month. Verse 9. No, I mean verse 8. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. See, this is going into people. You're getting a chance. You're getting a chance to come to the wedding. We bidding both bad and good. You get an opportunity. These are opportunities that the Most High has given us to do these things, man. Calling both bad and good. Hey, come on. Because at the end, guess what? We can judge the people, but we cannot condemn the people. This is our job, man. We are the lawgivers, man. How are we going to be the lawgivers and not know the law, man? We the lawgivers, man. It says, verse 8, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. That's what a wise man would do. Man, brother, I love y'all on the block. Hey, brother, don't you know you ain't sin? Yeah, brother, I know. Brother, guess what, brother? You got a humble spirit on you, brother. Or sister, you got a humble spirit on you. You need to be coming gathering with your people, man. You know you Israel, man. Let me prove to you. Let's go to curses and Deuteronomy. It's easy that we're going to break these things down, man, to our people so they can know who they are. Said, rebuke a wise man and he will love thee, man. That's why you think the Most High rebuke us. That's why we love the Most High so much. He rebuke us and make sure that we are right. He correct us in what the things that we do, man. You don't want to be walking around here like boo-boo the fool. Nobody wants to be. The song, what did it say? The song say everybody plays the fool. But don't nobody really want to be the fool. You play the fool sometimes, but you don't want to be that. Unless you like Esau want to walk around with the little dunce head on. You know, Esau play any damn character as long as he can stay ahead. Verse 9. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. I remember when I first got into this walk, you know, me and Maccabees, we, you know, pretty tight, man. Maccabees was telling me, and we was talking one day. He like, man, yeah, man, we got to make sure, man. He's like, man, shoot, let's keep building together, man. He's like, if I get knowledge and I teach you the knowledge, we both got knowledge. I said, dang, that made a lot of sense. And it's the same thing this Bible saying. The Most High God give us the knowledge. We supposed to teach the knowledge. How could you get knowledge and you just sitting on knowledge? That ain't your knowledge for naught. That's you. Are you nation building? What's all this for? It said, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. It said it says, Shalaki. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. Teach a just man. What does that even mean, man? Let's go to Sirach, chapter 21. Chapter 21, verse 15, man. Sirach chapter 21, verse 15, man. It says, teach a just man and he will increase in learning. This is what our understanding is supposed to go to, man. This is something that we need to be meditating on, something that we need to be exercising these things on, is to get better understanding of what these things really mean, man. The book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it. So that's when he's saying that a skillful man, when he hear these wise words, he gonna get it and he's gonna meditate on these things, man. That's what a skillful man will do. Shalak. And Shalak, he said, if a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. That means he will get more and more understanding. He will add unto his learning, or he will increase. Guess what? Oh, brother, that was a good precept. Hey, check this out, man. There's another precept that'll go with this right now. Not an add and take away from the word, with like Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 2 is saying. No, this man's gonna add unto. No, brother. Okay, dang, you gave me this wisdom on it. I'm gonna show you what this say on this side right here. So now he giving you wisdom on some other stuff. That's what a skillful man would do. But as soon as one of no understanding here, it displeases him and causes it and casts it behind his back. So a person that hears a person of no understanding here, he just throw it behind his back. Oh, that ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. That's in Zechariah 7 and 11. They refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulders. They pulled away the shoulders from this walk, man, or from hearing the word, man. But a skillful man to hear and they add on to it. Dang, I read that last night, man. There was a precept of this. Hey, brother, check this out. Man, look at this precept. And you go, oh, man, that precept right there. Go, that precept, all praise. That's what a skillful man to do. That's what a just man, that's how a just man increases his learning, man. When he sees something, he be like, dang, man, that was good, man. That was good. I liked it. But guess what? We got these knuckleheads out here, man. We got these knuckleheads. Let's go to Proverbs 1 and 5 right quick. We got these dang old knuckleheads. They don't give a damn and who said it and what for and how they did it and when they come. What did it say? That's why we got to meditate on these scriptures, man. That's why we got to meditate on these scriptures day and night, man. This is the only way we get up out of this condition. Book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. This is what a wise man to do. The same precept we just read in Proverbs chapter 9. Same in chapter 9 and what was that? Same precept we just read in Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 9. Same precept we read in Sirach chapter 21 and verse 15. It said a wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain to wise counsel. So a man of understanding gonna attain. They're gonna hear wise counsel. Yeah, that was a pretty good counsel. I understand it. I get it. This makes sense because I read this. Let's go to here. We building together. A lot of brothers don't want to build. Verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretations, the word of the wise and the dark saying. It said to understand the wise. And he said, and to interpretation. The words of wisdom and the dark saying. How do we understand this? Verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head and a chain about thy neck. So when we get ready to get to understand a proverb, say a proverb or an interpretation of the words, we got to be doing these things. We can't get around not doing the Bible, thinking we gonna understand. How could you think you gonna go? You think you're not gonna do the Bible and to get some understanding of the Bible? It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Either way you go, it's just not gonna happen. If you're not doing this, matter of fact, let's get another precept. So, chapter 1. Let's get some more understanding of what it says. Verse 6 said to understand a proverb and an interpretation, the words of the wise and the dark saying. How do we get this? Let's go to Sirach chapter 1 and verse 26. How do we get these understandings, man? The book of Sirach chapter 1 and verse 26. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments. This is simple. See how that's so simple. If you desire the dark parable, if you desire the dark sayings and the wise words and the interpretation of Proverbs, it said, if you desire wisdom, keep the commandments. This is simple, man. And the Lord shall give her unto you. A lot of people want, oh man. Guess what? Brothers understand. You see brothers being built up in the scriptures. These brothers have been doing this for a long time, keeping the commandment for a long time. And most guys start unlocking more and more of the Bible to these brothers. That's why you see brothers keeping the commandments, and you see brothers getting these things unlocked to them, man. Verse 27, for the fear of the Lord is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delight. So this is what we must be doing. Keeping the commandments, man. It's a simple exchange. You keep the commandments, you can grow. If you don't keep the commandments, you won't grow by it, man. Let's go Psalm 111 and 10, man. Psalm 111 and 10. These precepts should be lined up in a brother arsenal. I'm talking about should be lined up in a brother arsenal going back to back with a brother, man. They should have these things lined all the way up, man. The book of Psalm chapter 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever, man. This is what we must be doing, man. Keeping the fear of the Lord, man. This is what we must be doing, keeping the fear of the Lord, man. This is what the Lord commanded us to do, man. And when we not walking in it, man, hey, don't expect to obtain these things, man. But when you walking in it, guess what? You should be expecting to obtain these things, man. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 29, man. Because wisdom uplifts you, man. Wisdom uplifts all of us, man. Wisdom uplifts all of us, man. The book of Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 29. It says, seest thou a man diligent in his business? Because this is what a person is supposed to be doing, man. You see a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings, and he shall not stand before mean men, before mean men. And this is what how the Lord give us protection, man. You see a man of understanding, all of a sudden you see him elevated, man. And you see him taken from one level to the next level. Let's give some examples, man. Let's go to Exodus chapter 35, man. To get a couple of examples, man. Exodus chapter 35 and verse 30. Give a couple of examples of our forefathers, man. Because this is how wisdom do for people that's diligent in their business, man. The book of Exodus chapter 35 and verse 30, man. This is our forefather Moses, man. If everybody know anything about Moses and Moses' business, man, guess what Moses was about? That work, man. Moses was about keeping God's laws, man. Now this goes into The workmen's gathered. Okay. Moses said unto the children of Israel, see, the Lord had called by name Bezaleel, the son of Uriah, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And he had filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manners of workmanship. So the Lord increased this brother, because he was keeping God's. He was about their business, man. He was keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments, but he was about the business, man. He wasn't about the game. The brother was about the business, man. Verse 32. And to devise curious works, to work in gold and in silver and in brass, and in the cutting of stones, and to set them, and in the carvings of wood, to make any manner of cunning works, shalaka. And he put in his heart that he may teach both he and Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, the tribe of Dan. So after he learned, after the Most High increased him, the Most High put it in him to teach others. Verse 35. Then he had filled with wisdom of the heart to the work of all manner of work of the engraver, and of the cunning workman, and of the embroiderer in blue and in purple, in scarlet and in fine linen, and of the weaver, even of them that do any work of those that devise cunning works. So the Most High increased his brother, but the brother also had all these skills that the Most High increased, man, by him being diligent about the business. And so when the Most High seen how diligent the brother was, the Most High kept increasing. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this. He kept on feeding his brother more and more, because the brother was diligent about the work, man. Let's get another account, man. Let's go to, I always got to touch on King David, man. 1 Samuel chapter 16 right quick, man. Pretty good and get up out of here, man. 1 Samuel chapter 16. Coming out forefather King David, man. Because King David, if anybody know anything about King David, he was diligent about their work, man. The Most High said King David was after his own heart, man. 1 Samuel chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 14, man. Because I'm going to jump on down. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold now, and the evil spirit from God troubled thee. So the Saul's servant telling Saul, hey man, we see an evil spirit, man, is troubling you, man. He said, let our Lord now commend thy servants which are before thee, to seek out a man who is a cunning player on a harp, and it shall come to pass, when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hands, and thou shalt be well. So now the servant is telling Saul, like, look, we see an evil spirit is troubling you. Let us go on ahead and get a man that knows how to play the harp, that can get these spirits up off of you. We talk about King David, the warrior, King David, the king. But we don't talk about King David, the musician, because he can play. He played well with the harp. Played so well with the harp he was so good about his business. This is how King David wrote. Jump down to verse 21. And David came to Saul and stood before him, and he loved him greatly, and he became his arm bearer. So David became King Saul's arm bearer, because Saul loved King David. At first he did. And he made King David his arm bearer. Verse 22. And Saul sent Jesse, saying, let David, I pray thee, stand before me, for he had found favor in my sight. So he's Saul telling King David's father, King David's father, hey man, let David stick around, man. I like him, man. Verse 23. And it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took in heart and played with his hands, refreshed, and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. So even in this, the musician David was a man of many coats, had many gifts that the Most High God gave him, man. He had the spirit of war, the spirit of taming animals, the spirit of ruling. He had many things that the Most High gave him, man. But he used them things accordingly because he was diligent about the business of the Most High, man. And these are things that we're supposed to be getting back to in our understanding. The Most High required us to do these things, man, to get back to the business of these things, man. Let's go to let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse 22. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse 22. The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit, holy, only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the things that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, and ready to do good. So these are the things that the Most High gives us in wisdom. These are the focal points of things that wisdom give us, man. It teaches these things, man. And these are the things that David obtained from the Most High by being diligent about the business of the Most High, man. Verse 23. Kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. So these are the things that come with seeking wisdom. These things, wisdom is above all things. Of anything that moves, wisdom is above those things, man. It needs wisdom. If the wind blows, the wind needs wisdom to blow. If the eyes can see, the eyes needs wisdom to see. It gets nowhere else around it. Wisdom is in all things, man. Verse 5, for she is the breath of the power of God. That's why wisdom is above all those things, because wisdom is the breath. That's the same breath that he breathed into that. That's the same breath that he breathed into Noah's ark. Same breath that he breathed into our forefather Adam, man. Same breath that he breathed, man. It said wisdom is the breath of it said wisdom, Shalaka, for she is the breath of the power of God, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled things fall into her. No defiled things can fall into wisdom, man. When it comes to wisdom, you got to hold your peace, man, because wisdom going, guess what, exceed any. You can't lie around wisdom. You can't get around wisdom. You can't duck it. You can't hide from it. Wisdom is wisdom. Verse 26, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light and the unspotted mirror of the power of God, the image of his goodness, and the begin, Shalaki, and being but one, she can do all things and remain in herself. She maketh all things new, and in all ages, entering into Holy Spirit. I mean, it's like Holy Soul. She maketh them friends to God and prophets, because Spirit maketh you friends to God and prophets, man, and maketh you a prophet. This what comes with Spirit. This what comes with having the Spirit, man, having the understanding of wisdom. The prophets of God ain't the people that ain't got no understanding. Every prophet, people came to prophets to get understanding what God was saying. This is the same thing we doing in the last days, man. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Said God loveth none but them that dwell in those things. That's why we must seek this wisdom, so we can keep seeking the Most High God, man. These are things we must walk in because the Most High require these things, man. For she is more beautiful than the sun. Ooh, that's beautiful, man. It says she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the orders of the stars. Being compared with light, she is found before it. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. No vice that you can bring. Deep vice, anti-vice, virus, nothing can prevail against wisdom, man. Because if wisdom set, that's where wisdom gonna go, man. Going into verse 8, in chapter 8, verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly do she order all things, because wisdom order in all things, man. Wisdom order in all things, man. Last precept, Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. This is what wisdom do for us, man. Wisdom order our step. That's what it say. A just man will increase in learning, man. Because a just man is looking out for wisdom. Is seeking the knowledge of the Most High. And these are the things we must do to get understanding and the knowledge of the Most High, man. The book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. And the same thing we would read. That's the same thing we was read in Proverbs chapter 9, man. That's the table that we trying to sit at, man. We trying to be that we. Verse 6. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. And we want to be filled with the wisdom in that, man. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. And blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manners of evil against you falsely for my name, for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So all the prophets and everything which was before us, guess what? They had the same understanding of wisdom, the same way. They went through these trials and tribulations, man. Our foremothers went through that, man. Our forefathers went through these things, man. But they understood to keep themselves at meek, man, because they wanted to be filled with the mercy and pure heart, peacemakers. These are all the pillars. These goes into all the pillars of wisdom, man. Verse 12, man. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecute they the prophets which were before you. Verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thence good for nothing, but cast out and trodden down underfoot of men. Ye are the light of the world, and a city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, man. Because we are the light of the world, man. We don't want to lose the salt that the Most High gave us, man. We don't want to lose the wisdom and the understanding of the Bible. That's why when you read Psalm 40 and chapter 40 and verse 7, Hebrews 10 and 7 saying the same thing. He said, "Hello, I come in the volume of the book. It was written of me, man." These are the things we must stay grounded on, man. When we're not grounded on these things, it's hard for us to get an understanding of what the Most High God got for us in store, man. Thank you for your brothers and sisters tuning in, man. All praise to the Most High for you brothers and sisters tuning in. Like and share the video, man. Say follow the law, statutes, and commandments, man. So we always want to make sure to bring out a law to our brothers and sisters, man. Thanks for the brothers and sisters that give to the cause, man. All praise to the Most High for you brothers and sisters too. The law we bring it out today is Leviticus Chapter 26 and verse 1. And it reads, "Ye shall make no idols nor graven image, neither rear ye up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stones in your land." This is the key point. He said you should make any image of stone, no idols in no kind of way. And he said you don't make no idols. This is the point, to bow down unto it. Because when you making an idol to bow down into it, that's going into putting the idol before the Most High God. "For I am the Lord your God." And with that, we say shalom.